Hello everyone, this is Nicholas Ribera of Chain Assembly here. I am coming to you on July 22nd, 7:41 a.m. as I drive over to the University of South Florida St. Pete College campus, which is just about 15 minutes from where I live. I am going to be participating in a 2-day symposium put together by the St. Petersburg Arts Alliance. This is, I think there's about 40 artists involved, maybe. I'll get more details as I get there. But it is a series of classes, 2 days long worth of classes about making money in the arts. So I signed up for a couple of things. One of the first event I'll be doing this morning is with Pamela Joy Trow, who wonderful woman who joined us on our podcast a few episodes back. We talked primarily about wholesale, and that's really what her class is going to be all about. So I'm going to be reporting back on some of how that went. Some of the other classes I've signed up for is one about building a brand identity. I'm excited to learn about that. On top of that, I also will be connecting with what they call an accountability partner. And this is going to be just when they connect a couple of artists together, and you, I guess, both have plans, and we make sure that we stick to those plans. I haven't really been given all the details yet on how that's going to work. But, so what I'm excited to see is that my accountability partner is Heather Rippert, who I connected with a couple years ago during Co-Starters, which was this week-long course about entrepreneurship and small business starting and stuff. And she was definitely a really cool go-getter on that thing, so I'm glad to be able to connect with her again in a more structured situation. So I'll try and get her to pop in on this recording with me when I do connect with her over lunch. So for now, just wish me luck. I'm not really sure what to expect, but this is going to be fun, I'm sure. I'm sure I'll learn some good things. Whenever I do learn, I'm going to pass along to all of you whenever I have a chance to record. And speaking of which, I am talking to you all on a new recording device. This is called the H1 Essential by Zoom. It is a 32-bit float recorder, which, from what I understand, means it automatically...
Turn left onto the I-275 North ramp to Tampa.
Oh, that was my GPS. So this recorder automatically adjusts based on the volume around it, so you won't get any peaking and you won't get any audio that's too low for the recording. So we'll see how this thing goes. All right, thank you very much, and I'll check back in with you later.
I-275 North ramp.
So I'm about to play some audio from the aforementioned accountability partner. One aspect of this event is we were all assigned different partners that we can meet with at least once per week over the next 4 weeks to make sure that we are all working towards whatever goals we set. And so when I met with my partner, I put a recording to us, and you're about to hear the audio of said recording. I was lucky that the partner I was given is someone who I already knew. I think we bring it up in the meeting, but she and I were both on in a program a few years ago called Co-Starters, which is all about helping entrepreneurs get their businesses off the ground. And so it was fun kind of reconnecting with her over the years, and I definitely want to bring her on for a more in-depth interview at some point in the past. So Sorry, at some point in the future. So here is my preliminary introductory meeting with my accountability partner, Heather Rippert. All right, Heather. So, what's your name, place, and intention? Is that what we're doing?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, she started with place, so I'll start with place. So I'm from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and I love the culture of that city, and the enthusiasm of that city definitely is infused into who I am and how I operate in the world. And I've traveled around and lived in a lot of different places, and I've really enjoyed, going from place to place. I've lived, I've been in Florida 14 years, and I lived in Edinburgh, Scotland. I did 6 months there while I was in college, Maryland Institute College of Art in Baltimore, Maryland. I lived in Minneapolis for 3 years, and New Jersey for 4 years, and then other areas in Pennsylvania, Bryn Mawr, Ardmore is where I grew up. I like to be in a lot of different places and explore and learn from people and surroundings.
Okay.
So that's place. Then my name is Heather Ann Rippert, and that's Ann with an E, like Anne of Green Gables. And my mom wanted to name me Anastasia, but my dad his dad was Henry Aloysius Rippert, and he was Hank Aloysius Rippert, and he wanted me to be an H-A-R, so they agreed on Heather as my first name, and then we got the Ann, not Anastasia, as the middle name, and Rippert, so I've got the H-A-R. And then lastly, intention. So my intention being here in the summit is really just to expand my community, connect with other artists, and the retail course that we were just in was with Pamela was great for learning. I wanted to learn about that, and I'll be in the collaboration this afternoon, and I'm really excited about the collaboration. I want to learn about that, like how to do, I just want to expand and grow and make new connections and have new ideas of how I can get my work out there and in different ways.
Okay. So based on that, I want to start on my intention. I signed up for this mostly because I wanted to also network with other artists. I just came off of like 2 conventions that kind of like gave me good energy. One was like a paganism convention where I was selling stuff. Then another one was a board game convention where I was meeting with a lot of publishers and pitching my games and stuff. And I love that energy, and so when I saw this thing come up, I'm like, that sounds delightful. I don't necessarily think I'm going to learn anything new. Or I didn't think I was going to learn anything new, but then Pamela's thing was incredible, and I took so many notes from that. And she's like a font of information. And but like the reason why I said I didn't think I'd learn anything new is because I feel like personally I do all my best learning through my own Googling, But I mean, I had an art teacher always told me that art is problem solving. And like you'd say, for example, I have this message I need to get across. What is the best way to do that? And it's lots of trial and error till you get to whatever type of imagery you need to get that message across. And that trial and error, I find I explore best on my own. So that's one of the reasons why I didn't sign up for that collaboration thing, because I'm not a great collaborator. I'm always just kind of pushing myself to go as fast as possible on everything, and I hate when I get stuck behind waiting for someone to finish their part. But anyways, so I guess that would be intention. I grew up in Miami. I spent 2 years living in Nashville probably when I was like 20 to 22, maybe. I can't remember exactly when I moved to Nashville. But I was working at a research company in Miami. Then I got hired into their corporate office in Nashville. And then I moved to St. Petersburg 16 years ago. I've been with the company for 18 years, so whenever it was I moved to St. Pete, which I think was 15 or 16 years ago. I'm still with the same company, so that's my place. But I love St. Pete. I don't plan on ever leaving. My wife says if we were to ever leave St. Pete, it would probably be for another country. So I guess that would be the case. I'd probably leave the city just to go to maybe move to Mexico City or something. And my name is Nicholas Ribera. My sister's name is Alexandra, so our parents named us after the Russian czars. So slight relation to you then as Anastasia. Middle name is Julian. That's because my dad's middle name was Julian and my grandfather's name was Julio. So that's where that comes from. And last name Ribera, my dad always told me was from the Basque region of Spain, where my family originated. And it is just like the localers dialect of Rivera. And it means edge of the sea, like the Riviera. And I don't know if I filled 33 minutes, but that was me.
Okay, very cool. Ooh, can I add one thing to my name, too? Because you just jogged something in my memory about, so the last name Ripper is actually, oh, that must be time.
No, go for it, quick.
But my dad's father's immigrated from Hungary. His parents immigrated from Hungary in 1904, and their last name was Rapash. And at Ellis Island, they changed the name to Ripper.
Oh.
So.
Any idea what kind of plan you have for?
Yes, because I'm going to be specific about. I'm doing an open studio and it's going to be called Heather's Healthy Horizons.
That's better for you.
Celebration and open studio, because I am at the tail end of breast cancer treatment and got a really good health report after I had surgery.
Congrats.
So that was.
I spoke to someone earlier who's also has breast cancer right now.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, maybe writing a book about that is also in my agenda.
Okay. Have you written a book before?
I haven't, so that's something new that I'm going to be doing going forward. Prepare. So I'm doing it on August 4th. Okay. So I want to use this as the opportunity to be creating that, and I want it to be revenue generating.
Yeah.
I did an open studio last year in November, and it was great. I made a nice chunk of change.
Where's your studio?
It's in my house.
Where's your house? Sorry.
Clearwater.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Clearwater, right on the border of Dunedin. So, and it's going to be like either 11 to 5 or 12 to 6 or something like that. So
Are you in
on
like
a Sunday.
Like an arts-heavy neighborhood, or is it?
No,
So
I'm
you're just the destination.
Yeah. So it's I'm the only destination. There's no other artists in my condo complex. It's a small condo complex.
So that sounds both tough but also rewarding because everyone's going to be coming with a wallet with your name on it.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
Interesting.
Yes. And then some people will be coming just to celebrate with me, but I also have a lot of small items that are available that are like $35 and but I have salon style walls with my artwork.
Beautiful.
All over. I don't even have I did 5 new paintings for my solo show. I sold one of them, of the new ones. And, my wall space is it's full.
Yeah.
So I would love to clear more space on the wall. And I have 2 paintings that are stacked against the wall because I don't have anywhere to put them. So, so it's like a joint thing to celebrate my great news and also to get my work in front of people I know or new people or combination thereof, and
that's cool. I've never sorry, this sounds dumb, but I didn't know that was an option to just host an open studio at your own place as not part of some other ongoing event. So that's inspiring.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's I've been a member of studios at different places through my life. So, and sometimes I've had independent studios, and sometimes I've been in like where there's other artists. And when in the ones where there have been other artists, like I was in Ybor Art Colony, which I don't think that space exists anymore, but it was art studios for a long time, and we would do open studios like quarterly, where all the artists who, so it would be more like a group thing. And there's some even things like that in my area where they do. But anyway, I'm excited, and so I want to create that to be really fun and successful. So I made a little list. Open studio. I have to make. I started the flyer in Canva, but I need to finish that, and then like send it out. Who I'm going to email it to, and I was thinking to just make it invitation only. And then yesterday I was like, why? I should post it on Facebook too, and Instagram, and who knows who I'll reach.
Are you going to shoot like a little video of yourself, like?
Yeah, I can do that. Yeah, actually, I get the most watches when I video.
Yeah.
And so yes, good. Thank you. Good point. So I will do that.
So this year, so I live in the historic Kenwood Artist Enclave, and every year we have a thing called the Studio Tour.
Yeah.
So you familiar with it?
I am, because I've been invited. I've gone to Jen Richardson's place and Yael.
Okay, cool.
So I know a few people but I haven't specifically been to that because I don't know. Is it on a Saturday, a Sunday?
It's both Saturday and a Sunday.
It's both Saturday and Sunday. Okay.
So this year, me, Jan Richardson, and Summer Elaine Hugh are the committee members for it, for the 2025 iteration. And we're changing a lot of things. So we changed the name to the Tour of the Arts because you're not really touring people's studios so much, because now there's so many artists. We're doing like 2 or 3 artists per location. So that way it's also more friendly to the people who are renting in the neighborhood, because there's so many condos now, and it doesn't seem fair to make it just be like property owners. That feels very racist. So we're making it friendlier for the people who maybe can't have people visit their tours. Anyway, so we're making a Tour of the Arts. And one thing I'm doing too as like a promo for it is all the people who sign up, who want it, I'm filming like a little 5-minute documentary of them just talking about their art as I show off art around their studio. And once I get a bank of those videos together, and Jan Richardson was the first one I filmed, we're going to be scheduling those to launch on a weekly basis leading up to the event to hopefully get more people excited to participate in it. And we're going to be putting a lot more money into social media ads through like Reddit and Facebook. Anyway, so somewhat related to that, and I could show you, like, at some point I could show you the videos that I've made so far with a couple of the artists, just to see if you'd want me to do something like that for you.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if it would be helpful, but as you can see, I use this,
yes.
the lapel mics.
I actually just got some little lapel mics that I got as well through, because I did some freelance Instagram live stuff for Creative Panelists last year, and they have those sound reducing mics, and I was like, I have to get me some of those because they're so cool.
Yeah, this has like there's a little yellow button on it that like does the background noise reduction. But I also do post-processing through Adobe Audition anyways.
Oh. Groovy. You have way more tech knowledge than I do.
Well, so I actually applied to the SPAA artist grant this year for more equipment to make my podcast more mobile.
Oh.
Because I'm going to be hosting a panel at the Tampa Bay Coffee and Arts Festival. So that's in October. So that kind of made sense that I could request equipment to allow me to do like a PA as well as a live mixing board and a second set of these, so I can have 4 people all mic'd up through lapel mics on the PA that also outputs to the recorder. So that'll be fun.
That is groovy.
Yeah. So as far as what I'm going to be working on in the next few weeks, I've got the Christmas tarot deck that I'm working on with my wife. So the next thing I need to put together is I've got like 10 cards done now, and I've kind of started to develop the brand identity for it. So I need to create a branding sheet, so I'm consistent on the fonts and the colors I'm using for all marketing materials related to that. I got to build that, and with that, I got to start building out the BackerKit pre-launch page so I can start collecting leads to go into the Kickstarter project. So that's my immediate thing there. Then I think I'm also going to be start putting together some online ads for the plant board game that my wife and I made, because we're kind of at a stage where we need to start promoting that too for the Kickstarter. So those are the two main projects I'm working on now.
That's cool.
Both kind of early phases on those, but
Yeah.
different stages of the early phases.
Okay.
So that's what I'll be updating you on, I guess.
Okay. Yeah.
When we meet.
Yep. And then what can I provide for you for support in accomplishing what you need for those?
You can proofread whatever stuff I put.
Sure.
Yeah,
sure.
that works.
Yeah. I'd be happy to. It's always good to get another set of eyes. Might catch a letter
Yeah.
backwards
Sure.
or a
That sounds
comma
good.
missing or something.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, and as you were talking, you made me realize too, like, there's a timeline for my open studio, which will be, I think, in like 2 weeks, right? Because it's August 4th.
Yeah.
So, in addition to that, like, one of the things I want to be working on is creating other revenue generating opportunities. And one of the things I've had as an idea for a long, long time and just haven't executed is, like, I have G-clay prints available, which are more high end. That
How are you guys doing?
good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Any questions about anything?
No.
Okay, just checking.
So we were both in co-starters together 2
you
years
were?
ago.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with
Yeah,
I did
co-starters?
co-starters
Okay.
back in 2016, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
15 or
yeah.
16, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So you guys know each other from that?
We do. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm recording this for my podcast.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. Hi, podcast. Wonderful. Okay.
Yeah.
So no, you're on a roll.
We're on a roll.
Thank you, Susan.
Got it moving. So I want to take. I've had some prints for sale at a friend of mine who has a framing shop, and
Interesting. Okay.
I've sold a few, but they're my G-clay prints, and she wants them at a lower price than I have them on my website, because then. So what I want to do is have smaller prints made at Vistaprint, like
At where?
that's Vistaprint.
Oh, yeah,
One of
Yeah, I get them for.
those
I use them for business
and
cards.
stuff. Like that. They're less expensive. They're more like posters, right?
Yeah.
Than high-end G-clay prints, so that I can give her, and I'll probably do smaller, like a 9x12 or something.
I had someone on my podcast recently. So at one of the conventions, it was a board game convention, and part of it I was like filming little booth tours of a lot of the artists who are there.
Yeah.
And one of them, he did the same thing. He's got 2 different levels of quality for prints available.
Yeah.
And his cheaper ones, I think, was like, I want to say like $30
Yeah.
for a 12 by 18, I think it was. So they were pretty big. And he got those, and they're still really thick paper, but it wasn't G-clay. So.
Right.
Anyways, I could go
Yeah.
back to that video, find out. He said where he got them made, and I could
Yeah.
probably connect to whoever that was. I'll just
Yeah.
have to rewatch it.
Yeah, I have a couple different
2
sources.
episodes ago.
I was thinking Vistaprint because I do business cards and I've had postcards done there and
Yeah.
things like that. But also another artist friend gave me who she uses, which I can't think of what they're called off the top of my head right now. But I have the frame shop. Then there's a little place that I want to approach that's near my day job that I want to approach with prints. And I also have mini prints, which are like 5x7s. I already have those, but I need to order more. And I want to have a certain specific image that I don't have available made. So,
Well, so last year I bought myself a Canon Image Pro 1000, which is a giant, does up to 17 by 22 G-clay printer.
yeah,
So I've been making all my own prints, and it's been quite a freeing experience.
that's awesome.
Have you thought about buying one?
I haven't, and I'm not sure where I'd put it.
That was hard for me to find where to put it because it's a beast.
Yeah,
I paid $1,200. The ink refill is $800.
yeah. How
But
long does the ink last? Or
kind
have
of hard to say because I bought the refill, and like whenever you buy a printer, it's got like half as much ink as it normally would.
Sure.
And what's nice is it's 12 different cartridges, so you only need to replace the ones that empty out. You don't have to replace them all at once. And since I bought it last year, I've probably made 70 prints, I would think, for me and for other people. And I've replaced all but 3 of the inks, I think. So my guess is I'm probably, at this rate, probably looking at, it's been half a year and that was half of it. So I really have no idea to extrapolate.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, but I'm feeling like if I'm printing a 12 by 18, which is kind of my most common big size, I'd sell those for 50, and I'm probably putting, like, maybe with the cost of paper and everything, maybe $6 to $8 in materials in there.
Right.
So it's still way cheaper than if I were to get it professionally made.
Right.
Unless I'm getting them professionally made in bulk. If
Right.
I'm getting them made in bulk, then you're introducing all these other issues you have to deal with.
Sure.
So,
Yeah.
but also as part of the tour of the arts thing, I've also been offering prints for local people in the neighborhood and taking photos of their paintings and stuff to make prints so that they can be more prepared to make sales at that event.
Oh, well, that's great.
So if you need prints, I can price something out for you if you're curious.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
No, I appreciate that. That's great. Yeah, because I have the framing shop, the little store, and then I have my friends who have a farm and a retreat center where they do plant medicine ceremonies.
Very cool.
And they used one of my images for the cover of a book that they published about ayahuasca.
Wow.
So, and my painting is about
Yeah.
ayahuasca. So.
I think I remember that painting.
It's a tree, and it's kind
there
of
a
got,
woman?
it's kind of like a woman in the tree.
Yes, I remember that
Yeah.
one.
Oh well, no, there's.
Maybe
Yeah.
I'm thinking of a different one.
Yeah. Is it yours? You're thinking of one of an actual woman in a tree, or the tree is a woman.
I think an actual woman.
So
in a
that's
tree.
probably my
different one.
self-portrait Shakti. That pink dress.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah. That's more recent, but that could be. I mean, it essentially a lot of my artwork now is infused with a lot of ayahuasca because I've been participating in that since 2016. So, but anyway, I've talked with them about having this one image, but maybe I could have more than one image. I mean, maybe I'm not even thinking big enough, because now I'm like, oh, that one could be ayahuasca too. But I don't have Anyway, I go into what I don't have, and I'm trying not to do that with my mind, right? Like creating new pathways. Yes, I can find a way. I will find a way. I'm creating new pathways in the brain.
I'm always trying to figure out ways to get paid for the same image multiple times.
Yes.
So
yes.
that whether that be prints, and I guess because I'm a digital artist primarily, that's always my default. I don't have like a piece to sell.
Yeah.
So everything I do it doesn't actually exist until it gets printed.
Okay.
Which is a weird kind of feeling, because like I put so much time into something, but if it doesn't get printed, did I actually do it?
Wow.
I know it's a weird thing to say, but like it's not that it doesn't exist, it's just that I rediscover my love for it when it is printed, I guess is probably a better way to put it.
And it must, I mean, it's a different thing to you're in the screen creating it, and then you have the tangible piece in front of you. So I don't know. I'm assuming.
Yeah.
But
Well, it's also so. I've in the last couple of years, I've been diving a lot more into digital photography, and that is a constant thing that comes up in my monthly photography meetings. Is like, when is a photo good enough to get printed? Because it's not really. It doesn't feel like it's true photographic arts until it's printed.
It's printed, right.
Then it's just like, why did you do it, So that is constantly kind of thing I'm thinking when I'm editing photos. It's like, this is a beautiful photo on my screen, but how will it look when it's printed? Are the blacks too black? Are the whites too white? And all of those things would translate to, that might look great on a screen, but it's not going to look good on paper. So that's something else to think of. I don't know why I went into that tangent. Oh, talking about getting multiple payments for things.
Yeah.
So, example is, like I was talking with Pamela, the tarot deck I'm working on now is Christmas themed. And I think the cards I've been coming up with would make wonderful Christmas cards. So I'm going to sign up for her class on getting into like the card market.
Right.
Not because I want to start like a whole new ongoing revenue stream, but because I want to have that as an option for the Kickstarter backer.
Sure. Yeah,
And,
I have
on
that
top of that,
here.
I also want to make ornaments, all with that same imagery. and who knows what else. But like, if I can create multiple products off of one image, then I've put the time into it once, but I can keep making more sales on it.
I might want to do that too. September 17th, 6:15 to 9.
Yeah.
That program.
All right. Well, I think we have 8 minutes before our next class. Where are you headed to next?
Probably. This is nice. I mean, look at the view.
I know.
You have your back to
inside
it,
now.
but it's like, it's nice.
The walk from that building to this building was delightful.
It was.
The weather was
lovely.
wonderful.
It was a little warm, but it was lovely. I mean, this is just such a nice setting.
Well, tomorrow I'm going to be bringing pants and a sweater.
Me too. That's what I said to my friend earlier. That I said, "Oh my God, I definitely need to wear something warmer tomorrow."
All right. Well, thanks, Heather. I will be messaging you next week, and good luck at your next class.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, so I am in the car with my lovely wife, Leslie, who is taking me to the movie theaters like a child, and I love it. So I just thought this would be a good opportunity to kind of debrief about the day, tell her about what I learned in day one of my 2-day seminar, symposium, summit. I think summit's the term they're using. All right. So, let's see. Cool, cold dude, Pamela. All right, so the first thing I went to... Well, no, actually, we started off with this, like, it was a panel. And it was 4 speakers. So the first one, she represents a charity that helps low-income neighborhoods get broadband internet into their homes, either by giving them devices or giving them stipends to pay for their internet, which I thought was pretty cool. I guess the theme of the panel was art and technology. So there really wasn't any art side to that, but still interesting. Second person, let me see, I wrote her name, was Kristen Hemphill. Hemphill. She's part of the Florida Rama interactive thing over at, it's like I don't want to say tourist attraction, but I guess that's what it is. It's kind of like a museum, but it's like a bunch of lights and stuff. Immersive experience, yeah. Talking about, her presentation was about how like you can like program Arduinos and Raspberry Pis and stuff to make your art interactive, so that was kind of interesting. Then the third person was Beth Harrison, who is the Digital Experiences Director at the Dali Museum. She was talking about their history of like using AI to create experiences at the Dali, and wasn't the biggest fan of that. But she was talking about how like they had this thing where people could describe what their dreams were, and then it would generate a painting in the style of Salvador Dali, and then mix that with 6 other people's. So like you'd end up with this big kind of thing. And I didn't ask her this, but I was wondering, I'm like, well, who owns the IP on those things being generated? Is like the museum making money off of other people's dreams? But anyways.
Or now does that platform have access to what they've created on?
Yeah, that's true. And I guess if you're doing it in the style of another artist, that's pretty shady. But if you're doing it in the style of Dali and you are the Dali Museum, maybe it's okay, because his estate's probably not going to sue you. But I don't know. Anyways. And then the last person who came up, she was fascinating to listen to, was Angela Dalton. She's part of a venture capitalist investment firm that specializes in video games and experiential video games like Minecraft and Roblox. So games where it's about like having social interactions with people and not exactly about like gamifying something or winning something. And so like that's so her job is to like find the new games that will become a trend for young people as like the modern replacement of them all. So it was really cool listening to her. I'm gonna try and catch her at some point tomorrow and chat with her more. So then we went to the first class thing I signed up for, which was with Pamela Joy Trout, who I had on my podcast many episodes ago. And she threw so much information in there about wholesaling in an hour and a half. She was blasting through slides, tons of information. If anyone wants to sign up for her classes, I highly recommend it. But some of the things I learned was you can get income stream from blogging, leasing, grants, and licensing. I knew about like grants and licensing, that's a lot of work, but blogging makes me want to see if maybe I can put some Google ad clicks into my blog, make some money off of that. She also mentioned when she does wholesale orders, she always starts off with a minimum order of $100 to open the relationship for wholesale, but then any reorders have a lower window of $75. So I should look into that. She says the real success happens when your wholesale customers rebuy products from you, not from the initial. And that's definitely a case with Fair too, since Fair takes a cut on that first opening order, but not off of the subsequent reorders. As far as online retailers for wholesale pricing, Fair, which is the one I've used in the past and we talked about on the episode with her. There was another one she mentioned called Creo 8, Handshake, IndieMe, Stockable. Those are all different wholesale-based online retailers. I want to check out Handshake because there's no fees and you have to have a Shopify store, which I already have. So I guess it integrates automatically with all that. We talked about scaling, finding ways that you can reduce costs in order to find profit in different areas, funnel down what you're working on to make your business even more niche than you think it needs to be. When someone buys something from you in person, ask them why they're buying it so that you can try and lean into that niche. She shared work of a Clearwater artist, who I feel like we've probably seen her stuff online. I didn't realize she was in Clearwater. Who has a whole brand about retro Christmas cards. And she sells also retro Christmas villages, which I feel like we looked at online, and they looked adorable. I say we, as in my wife and I, who's quietly driving. She only put a really quick glance on the screen of her pricing for greeting cards, but it looks like she's paying about 68 cents per card and retails them between $2 and $6. So with the Christmas tarot deck that Leslie and I are working on, we do want to do some greeting cards. So she has a class specifically about marketing greeting cards. So I'm probably going to sign up for that to get more details on the pricing and whether or not we want to manufacture them ourselves or offload it or what. She also talked about the two categories of product images, lifestyle versus isolated. If you're trying to market towards retailers, they want isolated. You don't need lifestyle. Lifestyle images are good just for if you're selling directly to the consumer. So, let me see, was that all my notes for Pamela? Yes. Oh no, there's a whole nother page. Create wholesale terms on website. So yeah, I should have a page on my website that details how I receive payment, how I deal with returns for wholesales, back orders, minimum shipping, packaging, all of that, so it's in writing and people can take a look at it before they reach out. She also creates a catalog via InDesign and then publishes it through Publish Online option in the menu thing for InDesign, so that if anyone is curious about wholesale, she could just send them that virtual PDF that's hosted online. So I definitely want to look into that. She also uses Instagram to find stores similar to hers or brands similar to hers, and then follows them as well as follows all of their followers, and then sees who the followers are following. She also uses Yelp to find stores in different cities, like gift shops in Austin, Texas. And then based on the Yelp reviews, she can easily see images, because Yelp will show those in the title of it. If any of them seem like it would make sense for her product, then she would reach out to those people. She also showed us examples of emails she sends to those stores, and she always sends at least 3, and then continues to email them like every other month, because it might be a year before they finally reply and do an order from her. She also has used ChatGPT to find stores for her in different areas that are similar to her product line, or they might be interested in carrying her product line. And let's see. Okay, and that was it for the conversation with Pamela. It was amazing. There was a lot of good stuff in there. Then we had our lunch break where I met with my accountability partner, who I actually recorded our conversation, so you'll hear that. We were randomly put together, but I already knew Heather from the Co-Starters class we did a few years ago. All right, and then after that, I did my second seminar, which was about creating your brand and value. The 2 speakers were Matthew McGee, the owner of the Free Fall Theater Company, he was pretty cool. And then the other person was Cecilia Luesa, who's a painter and sculptor. And we talked about a few things. It was mostly just kind of like an open conversation. They didn't really provide all that much information. They're just kind of reacting to our questions. But one thing that definitely really stuck with me from that conversation was Matthew McGee has gotten way more success running Facebook ads promoting Free Fall Theater as a brand rather than running ads promoting individual shows or plays they're putting on.
Consistency.
And so that's what we were talking about. It's like I only ever run ads when I have a specific project on Kickstarter. I don't ever run ads for just Chain Assembly, the store, which maybe I should, because if I'm promoting myself as an entity, that means I'm potentially buying the attention of someone who may make multiple purchases down the road.
And they'll start to recognize your brand more often since it's your brand that you're putting out, not something specific.
Yes,
with
absolutely. And that was also something we talked about too. It's like, in the case of Chain Assembly, yeah, you could just, I guess I could drop out here. Well, it was wonderful. Thank you so much, Leslie, for recording this with me.
Until next time.
Bye.
Bye.
So that brings me to the end of the event. I didn't record any audio on the second day of it, but we had a pretty interesting presentation with a few panelists related to being an advocate in the arts. So there wasn't anything that actually helps with your small business side, but it was still great seeing organizations out there that are doing really helpful things to the community, a lot of them involved in the arts. Another part of that was, I believe there were 8 organizations that all did short pitches on requesting a $5,000 reward from the St. Petersburg Arts Alliance. And all of us who attended this summit, we were able to vote on who got the money. So that was pretty fun. I put my vote towards the Museum of Motherhood because I wanted to keep the money in the neighborhood. I'm a big fan of Martha Joy Rose, who's a neighbor of mine and has created the Museum of Motherhood. The money did end up going to Studios at 620, which is still a wonderful organization that helps basically foster playwrights and live stage productions. But everyone else who did participate in the pitch still got a free $1,000 gift from the arts organization. Would I do this event next year if they have it? If there are new classes and things that are more actionable, new workshops, then absolutely I would do it. I am also really happy with all the connections I made. There's a jeweler that I'm going to be reaching out to get a piece made for my mother. I'm going to be taking another class with Joy, who again I talked about being one of the highlights of the event, and I'm going to be reaching out to the educational coordinator for the St. Pete Arts Alliance to see if I can host some workshops about crowdfunding and fundraising through Kickstarter. One last thing I want to leave with you all is this marks the 50th episode of the podcast. On the podcast side, we've had just over 1,000 downloads. On the YouTube side, it has been ridiculous the amount of listens I've had there. So that's pretty impressive. I just don't know if there's any easy way to interact with my YouTube listeners. So it is good to see that it's still kind of the early days of this podcast, and I'm really looking forward to the future and the people that I'm going to have on it and the education that I am presenting to all my listeners. And I wouldn't be able to do it without your continued follows on Spotify, as well as your continued downloads. And just every now and then I get a message from someone who says, hey, great episode, and that means the world to me. The easiest way you could support me, I'm not asking for money, but if you could review this 5 stars on whatever app it is you use to listen to podcasts, that'll help other people find the podcast. And if you do want to share this online with anyone, please let people know that you have been listening to Art for Profit's Sake, and it has been a help to you. Don't give me bad reviews. That does not help me. But I also would like to hear from you. So anyone who has any questions, or if you want to be on the show or have some helpful information you think you can share with the listeners, please reach out to me. I am Nick at chainassembly.com. That's N-I-C-K at chainassembly.com. Or I believe there's also a comment box on each episode on Spotify. So feel free to comment on these episodes and I will respond to you too. So again, thank you so much for continuing to follow me along this journey, and here's to the next 50 episodes. Art for Profit's Sake is recorded through Riverside FM, distributed through Spotify for podcasters, and edited on Adobe Audition. The music is provided by Old Romans. If you learned anything useful or found this podcast helpful, please rate and review us 5 stars. If you want to learn more about me or my art, head over to chainassembly.com.
Are you ready to paint your own canvas in the real estate world as a homeowner? It's Leslie Haas from Realty One Group Sunshine, and I'm here to talk home equity, your masterpiece in the housing market. Imagine owning a piece of property that's not just a place to call yours, but also an investment opportunity. It's time to take that brush and start creating equity in your dream home. With interest rates on the verge of dropping, get ahead of the curve and secure your artistic haven before the next rush. Whether you're a first-time home buyer or upgrading your studio, let's sketch out your home ownership dreams together. To learn more, visit tampabayhomesforsale.realestate.